Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the McKenzie Classic. And the weather has passed. My name is Greg White. Sitting alongside me, Darren Christianberry, as things have gotten, Darren, sloppy.
Interesting, sloppy,
messy. And so what's going to happen is we've had a bit of a format change. The light is fading quickly. So what we're going to do is we're going to get to the Open Pro class. As you can see, there's a guy, Levi Morgan, in the mix. There's Danny McCarthy in the mix. Jason Dickey's there. Brandon Reyes.
Jason Bennett.
Okay, so we're going to get to that. They're going to shoot, and then we're going to go straight into the known pro class. If there is time after those two classes shoot, then we're going to do senior pro and then possibly women's pro. Now, the reasoning behind this is because these two classes are so tight that they want to try to get to them. You know, there's a lot of factors to consider here. One is, honestly, Darren, the condition of the grass. We're guests here at Fort Massac State Park, and we are going to trample all over. I mean, some of the puddles are ankle deep.
Yeah, if you just joined, we got like 3 inches of rain in an hour right there.
Yeah.
It was crazy, a monsoon.
So that's the situation that we're under. So we're going to send it to Chuck Cooley, and he's going to do our introductions to the Open Pro class. So take it away, Chuck.
Welcome back to the 2019 McKenzie ASA Classic Shoot down here in Metropolis. Thank you for coming back after the weather delay. This is the Open Pro Division Shootdown. Your fifth place qualifier with a score of 425 and 16 bonus rings. From Urbana, Missouri, shooting for Matthews, Jason Dickey. Your fourth place qualifier with a score of 425 and 20 bonus rings. From Lynchburg, Virginia, shooting for Matthews, Brandon Reyes. Your third place qualifier, an Open Pro Shooter of the Year with a score of 426 and 15 bonus rings. From Wisconsin, shooting for Matthews, Dan McCarthy. Your second place qualifier with a score of 428 and 16 bonus rings. From Harrisville, Pennsylvania, Jason Bennett. And your number one qualifier with a 432 and 20 bonus rings. From Uniontown, Pennsylvania, Levi Morgan.
All right, if you're just joining us after our long break, Levi Morgan made a big run on Danny McCarthy for Shooter of the Year, Darren Christianberry. But in the end, Danny, who played it conservatively, as he said in a feature that we ran earlier, he was able to win by 10 points. Levi had a heck of a run. But after 12 Shooter of the Years in a row, Levi Morgan, he gives that one up to Dan McCarthy, who won his first, all the way back in 2005. Quite a story here in this class.
Yeah.
All right, so the scores, the situation as we have it right now, Levi Morgan leads the way with a 432, so he's 32 up. Jason Bennett, his second shoot down. You can see him middle part of your screen. The young man is 28 up, and then Dan McCarthy at 26, Brandon Reyes 25, and Jason Dickey at 25. So judging's been done, and here we go. We are getting into it quickly. Levi sends one. Yeah.
No surprise there.
12, looks like. There's Jason.
Good look at Jason.
Jason, at 39 years old, was the 2018 Rookie of the Year in this class. His first shoot down. Very excited at 39 years old. There's your new Shooter of the Year. Dan McCarthy going for it. All right, so let's go ahead and reset these targets as we are just ripping through this stuff. Right, so we have the turkeys on target number 1. Javelin is 2, the tapir is 3, the large deer that you just saw is target number 4, and the howling wolf. So the first one is going to be Levi Morgan, and Levi's in with a 12.
No surprise there for Levi. Dan needed a huge lead to keep him out, keep that Shooter of the Year title.
And yesterday, after we talked to Levi when the day was done, the one thing that he said was, listen, it's different for him. This is the first time in 13 years that he's been able to come to the Classic and just concentrate on winning because he was so far back.
Yeah.
Where all the other years he's been worried about fending off other archers. All right, so that would be, it should have been Jason Bennett. So Jason Bennett with an 8.
This is McCarthy here, right?
On the tape, target number 3.
Look at that guy go.
Yeah, so that was
14.
Danny on the taper for a 14. This should be Brandon Reyes.
Levi's going to have to shoot strong. Danny's coming after him quick.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon shoots a little bit low there. That's a
right.
long target.
Yeah. So the one thing that we saw in the feature earlier on before the rain and everything with Dan McCarthy is the comments that he made there was he wanted to shoot conservative to protect his Shooter of the Year lead, but he also wanted to shoot well enough to keep himself in contention for the win. And with that 14, obviously he's doing it.
Yeah, he could win it all. One Shooter of the Year already, and he's 14 the first target. He's got a very good chance of winning this Classic as well.
So that you're looking at right there, there's the tape here, and that is Lake Fort Massac, right in the middle of your screen.
Beautiful backdrop.
It's a spectacular. There's the river, the Ohio River, and you can see obviously the historic fort that was here. So there's Jason Bennett. And you look at Jason and you think, wow, what a gifted young man. He was leading for a while out of Harrisville, PA.
Jason got his first pro win 2 years ago, I believe. Fort Benning, is that right?
Yeah, he got it.
Yeah, 2017.
Fort Benning, yep, men's pro champion in 2017. Obviously shooting the Matthews, True Ball Excel.
I believe this is his second shoot down this year.
It is.
Good look at him right there, right over the shoulder.
You look at him, you wouldn't guess it was a 4-year. He was a 4-year pro. He sends that one into the taper for a 10. So we're going this fast.
Jason Dickey here. Good solid shot for Jason.
Yeah, great shot.
Ooh. He's not going to like that.
Yeah, that's Levi Morgan on the javelina. And we're looking at a bunch of rings. So the ring that's closest to the arrow is going to be...
That's the 8 ring, and he's just below it. That's going to be a 5. Those cards are stuck together from the water.
Don trying to get it sorted out. So Levi, that's a big bump right there.
Yeah, that just turned it into anybody's game.
All eyes going to be on Dan McCarthy now. So this is the taper, target number 3. So this is going to be Jason Bennett. We saw him shoot that 10.
That taper will be Levi's next target. I know what he'll do there.
Yeah.
After that 5, he will go guns blazing.
Large deer, Dan McCarthy, a 10. So he shot the upper 12, but he didn't call it. Explain that one.
Yeah, if you go for the upper, you have to call it because the low 12's in play all the time. So if you'd hit the lower, you'd have got it. You have to call the upper 12 ahead of time, or it's just a 10.
You can see that middle ring, which is the 10 ring, has 3 smaller circles in it. The middle circle for us not in play, but the bottom 12 always in play unless you call that upper. All right, here's Dan McCarthy. 2019 Shooter of the Year. I don't think we can say that enough on what he did.
He's so good under pressure.
He is, but you know where he, in my view, Darren, where he really won this was the first 2 tournaments of the year.
Yeah.
Levi came out a little bit slow out of the gate, and Danny was ripping. And I think that really made the difference and allowed Dan to play out the strategy that he had in this tournament.
You have to. Levi has been known to have some slower starts, and then come June, July, August, you can't hardly catch the guy. So, and again, Levi made another big run. It was all or nothing, and he pushed Danny, and Danny had to play safe but yet aggressive, and he held him off.
So the streak stops at 12 years in a row for Shooter of the Year for Levi. And you're right, he went for the 14.
Yep.
Just went under it.
His numbers are just a little bit off. He's a couple yards short on the last 2.
So it looks like Brandon Reyes. He's going to be in with a 10.
I believe this is Jason Dickey here.
I believe it is. Yeah. Is that going to be 2 12s in a row for Jason?
Great start for his first shoot down, I believe.
Oh, yeah, and he is nervous, by the way. I talked to
Is
him.
he?
Oh, he was. And I said, what would it mean to you to even put it on the podium? And he couldn't even really put it into words,
Wow,
Jason.
good for him.
So, you know, Jason Dickey, who's out of Missouri, he was Rookie of the Year last year, as I mentioned. He had 2 amateur wins in his career and an amateur second place. And he works for a taxidermy. He tans hides by the day. So he's one of those, you know, go shoot practice after work and on weekends. And he's really enjoying it.
That's good. Good for him.
Yep. Downrange optics and hamski for Jason Dickey. So that was the large deer.
It's a good looking arrow.
Howlin' Wolf for Dan McCarthy.
Oh.
Ooh. Might have called the upper.
Maybe.
Maybe Dan called the upper.
Maybe it was the glare I was looking at. I thought he 12'd that target.
Yeah. In our current position where we are, where the canopy / booth is at the moment, we're buried behind a whole wave of fans standing there as well as a big monitor.
Yeah.
So
our only view is the TV that's in front of us.
Exactly. So what you're seeing is what we're seeing as well as we decipher this. So this already, lickety split, we're on 4. So you have Dan McCarthy right now leading the way with a 460. Levi at a 57.
Jason Dickey at 59. He's in second.
Place. So then Levi 57, Bennett 56, and Reyes 53.
Yeah.
Oh man, what would this do for Jason Dickey if he could pull this win out?
And no final arrow unless there's a tie for first, correct? We're just going to shoot
correct.
5.
That's right.
So that makes every arrow super important.
Yep. With daylight dwindling, what Darren's talking about is Mike Terrell from ASA has made the decision that no 6th arrow, even if you're within 10 points, it's either outright leader or the only way we're going to shoot an extra arrow is for a tie for the lead.
Levi may have waited to see what Dan did there to make a decision on what he's going to do here. Since he just shot a 10, he may get aggressive here.
Ooh. Man, something is off.
He's 2 yards, at least 2 yards short on the last 3 arrows.
Now, what's interesting is you can only really see the body of that deer. That's because it's just a little bit of a dip on the hill heading towards the river, and they put him down at the bottom there, and that's a bit of a poke. All right, so is this going to be a 12 or a 10? All right, so that's Dan McCarthy, so a good, solid 10. But the question is, if Dickey shot a 12 on this one,
yeah,
we're going to have a lead swap. So McCarthy goes to 470. Now, in ASA competition, looking at this one right here, could it be a 12 because you are pulling the line?
Yeah,
and explain what that means.
Pulling the line, the foam is soft, and these carbon arrows, when they sink into the target, they drag that foam in, so it pulls and distorts that line. To me, that's a 12 right there from what I can see. But those carbon arrows and that soft foam, they drag that line and distort it. So sometimes, you know, you may not be touching it, but if it's dragging that scoring ring to touch the edge of that arrow, it counts.
And that's what he's looking at right there. That ring. Does it bend at all? If it bends at all, you're going to see Don. He's shuffling. Definitely not a 5. You got rid of that one.
I think it's a 12.
Oh, the 10 goes bye-bye. It's a 12 for Brandon Reyes. Typical steely-eyed look from Brandon Reyes. Yeah, it's a 12.
Yeah,
you
okay.
got it, pal. No big deal.
Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
I wonder if Levi hasn't had something move on his bow.
Yeah, really.
With the shuffling in and out and all the weather, who knows, bump something, but he's been 2 yards short on the last 3.
By the way, that was Jason Dickey who shot an 8, so his possibility of taking over the lead, he drops back. So not a tremendous amount of damage done because Danny McCarthy only shot a 10. So you can see that it went from 1 point McCarthy over Dickey now to 3 points. Brandon Reyes with his 12, though, moves up to within 2 of Dickey. Levi Morgan at a 65 tied with Reyes. And Jason Bennett now making some moves.
He's not done.
No. That should move him to 68. So now Jason Bennett takes over sole lead of second place and within 2 points of Dan McCarthy. And this is it. This is the last arrow. If there's an outright winner, unless we tie, we're going to declare the winner in this one.
So Bennett needs a 12. Dan would have to shoot a 10. They would stay tied. So Dan needs a ring to keep the lead if Jason does. Levi needs a 14, and he still can't catch Dan if he shoots a 10. That'll put him at 79. Dan shoots a 10, it puts him at 80. So this is an important arrow for Jason Bennett for sure. Jason Dickey's got a decision to make too. If he shoots a 14, he could win it. Ooh. Yeah, big arrow right here for these guys.
All right, so we can see Jason Bennett. Bennett lines up. He's on target number 1, so he is on the turkey.
Yeah, he can make a big move if he 14s this.
Here we go, the 4th-year pro.
Hopefully he knows where he's at on this scoreboard. Just over it.
Trying to go for that 12. Looks like a 10. Here's your leader, McCarthy.
He's shooting a javelina. 12.
Wow.
Wow. That guy, under pressure.
What a stud.
He's going to sweep it all, I believe.
Everything went to plan for Dan McCarthy this weekend. So 10 for Jason Bennett. That's going to send him to 478. So that's our first done score in this one. What we're looking for is a clear winner. And here's Dan McCarthy on the javelina.
And that thing's got to be in the upper 40s. It's a bomb of a target, too. Great shot, Dan.
I can tell you what it is, but I'm not telling you what it is. He deserves that.
Yeah,
I mean, he deserves that celebration.
He knows what that means right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's big for him.
482. Is that going to be the score that wins it all? Brandon Reyes on the taper. 10 for Brandon. So that'll take him to 75. So we'll see that.
Currently in 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
I've been advised by the camp people I'm moving way too fast for this.
It's hard to do all this math this fast.
All right, so that's going to be a 12.
Was that for Jason Dickey? Yep, 79.
79.
So he goes to 2nd.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, and that looked like he caught an 8. Levi Morgan. So an 8 for Levi. So that'll do it. Dan McCarthy, your shooter of the year and classic champion. Another one in the books for the Wisconsin resident, Dan McCarthy.
That's big for Dan. What a nice weekend.
15 years as a pro. A dry spell with Dan grinding it out year after year after year. Tons of second-place finishes and shooter of the year. And now it all comes and lines up for Dan McCarthy.
Yeah.
What a weekend he's had, even with the rain delay. They tried to ice the kicker, PJ, but Dan McCarthy was able to get it done.
Dan McCarthy, double champion. Tell me about that.
Man, I don't know. This is just a great weekend. A lot of luck. The arrows just went well. This shoot-off's not hardly fair. I mean, I haven't won earlier today for the shooter of the year. I was just kind of anything was bonus. So I didn't have a whole lot of pressure out here. That probably allowed me to just take a few more risks and just shoot really relaxed and shoot.
How about the rain delay? Did that play with you at all?
No. I mean, I thought it was going to get canceled, honestly. So, yeah, I mean, a little bit was like, well, we're probably going to get rained out. But we got to shoot, and that's awesome. For me, for me, it's awesome. But I feel bad for everybody else. Levi shot so good this weekend. I really thought, he'd win it. He shot really good this weekend.
All right, Dan, congratulations. ASA Classic Champ 2019 Shooter of the Year.
Thank you. Thanks, PJ.
All right, so Dan McCarthy, unbelievable weekend, one that he's going to remember for a long, long time.
Get in the red zone. Carbon Express's small diameter Maxima Red SD, taking big game hunting to an all-new level, making other competitors' single spine arrows obsolete. Patented tri-spine technology controls arrow flight, delivering better downrange energy and accuracy, all in a small diameter shaft. Think you're shooting the best hunting arrow in the game? Think again. Stay in the red zone. Assume nothing and shoot Carbon Express.